Sam can see how extra he is in real life.
I'm like an anti-vaxxer right now, but for Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Anti-legend. Actually, all these bands, they're all vampires. And then he went, "You've inspired me." And he sung an a cappella song. And then the Blood Moon.
Are you making this up? Hello, and welcome back to Gateway to Anime Season 4. Now, this is a very exciting time because this is the first time we've ever been filmed whilst talking shit about anime. It's a very exciting time.
It is.
For all of us, really. I'm intrigued. And look, it's been a while since I've seen y'all because obviously middle of Season 3, we had, just like in Season 1, we had to flee to our respective houses under lockdown from the dreaded coronavirus. And now we're back. You can see what we look like.
Sam can see how extra he is in real life. He'll be able to be like, oh right.
Wow, kind of intense.
Okay.
A couple of people have told me that in my time.
No, it's good to be back. Thank you all for tuning in. We're starting to do camera stuff, which is exciting. And it's been trial and error. So bear with us. Hopefully it's smooth sailing, but you know how these things go. So
yes, don't
Should I say that? No.
Say what you want.
I'm like, hi, exciting, but let me just undercut it for every let me just say the worst case scenario. Nah. Hi, I'm Charlie.
Graeme, hi, man.
Good. I wasn't sure if I had to wait to be introduced or I just join in with the banter.
Get in with the bands, man.
I also really wish I brought my mug.
Yes, you're mugless.
My sweet Gateway to Anime mug.
Man, it's
why'd you even bother coming?
I don't know.
You didn't have the mug. Like,
should I just leave?
Yeah. I didn't want to say.
Can we keep the cameras rolling till I get my mug? And then there's the issue of what to do with my hands. Am I looking at Sam and Charlie? Am I watching one of these cameras?
Hey, look, it's the whole thing. Let us.
I'm the only one who's not a trained actor as well. So
you're going to probably come across the best though. That's what's funny.
Absolutely.
Like trained actors will be like, "Hi, welcome to get," like so annoying. And they're probably like, "Wow." Yeah, literally a case of all right, Sam, what are we talking about today?
All right. Well, this is going to be the fall 2021 anime season roundup. So we just want to tell you what we're watching, what we have watched, what you might want to watch, what we're liking, and then you can pick and choose from the litany of shows because, my God, there are a lot of shows. And this is a much better season. The last one we did was the summer season. And let me tell you, as we said at the time, not a good season. It was a good time for me to pick up a whole bunch of shows. I mean, I finally finished Legend of the Galactic Heroes. By the way, top 3 anime of all time for me. FYI, if you listen to the sci-fi episode, I talked about it at length. And let me tell you, I watched the whole thing, all 110 episodes, and I loved every fucking second of it. Watch it if you haven't. It's awesome. You all should watch it too.
You know what? We're just not going to watch it because you then stopped talking about it.
Honestly, I was just thinking we should have
I'm like an anti-vaxxer right now, but for Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Anti-legends. I'm anti-legends.
I don't believe your propaganda.
I can't.
You're being paid by big legends.
Big legends.
I was honestly going to say I regret not starting a drinking game with Graeme about all this shit. Like, you know, when Sam mentions Legends of Galactic Hero, take a drink. You'll probably be drunk by the end of the
first
you'll
be an A&E.
So don't worry.
First episode, you'll be an A&E.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into the fall season. I'm going to start with a show terribly titled, called Takt, op.Destiny. Now, that sounds real dumb.
As dumb as Legends of the Galactic.
Okay, hold on. Hold on.
Actually, before we get into this, though, I'm intrigued that you think that this season is better than the last. Because is it?
Last season was poor. Last season was very poor.
I don't think this one is much better.
Yeah. Well, listen to what you've watched. What, unfortunately, classic again. I called Sam. I was like, "What do you want me to watch?" He's like, "I'm giving myself the award-winning series."
Yeah.
And you could watch this ridiculous thing. And I'm kind of like, seeing a pattern here. So I'm actually intrigued to see what you watch and excited to put that on my watch list because what I watched was not that good.
Mine has possibilities.
Yeah.
These shows could be good, but right now we'll get into it. But
I'm not trying to say it's a winter 2020 style season. It's not.
Yeah.
That was OP. It was
that broke. There were too many things to watch. It was crazy. You know, Escape the Infinity alone worth the watch. Let alone Attack on Titan. Let alone everything else. Now, let's talk about Takt, op.Destiny. So it's called this because the lead character is called Takt. And the second character is called Destiny, and I believe the OP stands for Opus. Now, this is a mixed media project about classical music produced by Bandai Namco Arts and Dana. Now, there is a mobile game currently in development, releasing soon, and the anime is actually a co-production between MAPPA and Madhouse. Now, this is what's very interesting about this project. First episode done by Madhouse, second episode done by MAPPA. This is very rare that a show gets a dual production house.
From two
Has that ever
houses.
really happened? Like,
Not really.
other than like an anthology series time. It's like one, but it's confusing. It's one full, is it the same director the whole way through?
There is the same director.
Yeah,
yes,
it's interesting.
but-
I actually don't know why they did that. I mean,
Well,
cool.
and it's also interesting because if you have listened to our season 3 episode, How an Anime is Made and the large anime production houses, you'll know that Maruyama, who was one of the founders of Madhouse, obviously founded MAPPA and has now left and has MZ, Studio MZ, or MZ, depending on where you're from. MZ.
So
I
thanks,
don't know.
Sam, for being
Those
inclusive
granular
there.
details
It's
people
the
Yeah,
American
yeah,
follow.
it's
The Americans gotta know that
detail.
it's cool, you know?
That's in his notes. He's like, make sure.
Make sure ZZ. I don't want to offend anybody.
He's like,
Yes.
visibility for Zed. Like, what? Like,
More representation
Yeah.
for Z. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here
did you
for.
say Z or Zed?
I said Z because I'm Australian.
I think I said Z and got in trouble at school.
See? There you go. That's my point. Right then and there.
Justice.
I'm just questioning everything.
Who
I don't
knows?
even know what I said.
Zed.
Who knows?
Zed.
Anyway, Z. Zed.
Anyway, Maruyama.
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
You wouldn't say
That's
Dragon Ball
true.
Z.
No, you
Dragon Ball
wouldn't.
Z?
Is
No, you
America
wouldn't.
Z
That's
that
true,
why?
actually. I guess because it's.
Is it because
we're
American
dumb,
Z?
right?
So your whole system just fell apart.
So,
I can't.
I don't know. It's too hard. This is,
Guys, the episode's cancelled.
the episode's cancelled because we can't figure out if it's Z or
Cut,
Z.
Go again.
Oh God, I'm genuinely like,
The whole thing. So I'm trying to give equal representation.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm not going to discriminate against Z or Zers.
You're a man of the people, we get it.
I'm a man of the people.
A fence
Please.
sitter, we call them.
weak is what I would call
Weak.
it. No, no.
A centralist. You know? Centrist.
All right.
That's my thing, you know. Everything's fine as it is, right?
This is fine.
Let's talk about classical. Is
Okay.
it classical music?
So here's the synopsis, right? Takt op.Destiny is set in the year 2047 in a reality where music cannot be played freely because of the invasion of an alien monster race called D2s. Now, they loathe the sound of human beings, but most of all, they hate music and attack ferociously when they hear it. So these monsters were produced by a black meteorite which fell from the sky years before. So to resist the D2s, sort of magical girls called music arts, who represent a classical music sheet, are led by human conductors to fight back against the monsters. The story follows one such conductor, Takt, and his music art, Destiny. See, name and opus in the middle there. That's where it's all from. Now, she was once actually Takt's childhood friend named Cosette, who died protecting Takt from a D2 attack. So she was then possessed by the music art Destiny, who made a pact with Takt, whose right arm now has the ability to become a powerful weapon, which can transform into a conductor's baton, enabling him to conduct Destiny against the D2s. The two have a fraught and incendiary relationship, and they are joined by Cosette's older sister, who was once Cosette's older sister, now Destiny, Anna, and they are journeying by road to take Destiny to the New York Symphonica, who are an organization seemingly hell-bent on destroying the D2s and appear to be creators of the music arts. We're not sure yet, hasn't got there. And they are going there to get her tuned, and she represents Beethoven's Symphony No. 5.
Yeah. What do I represent?
Meatloaf, bat out of hell.
No, some acid-free jazz kind of
Great.
thing. No composition whatsoever.
Some
blank
jazz
page.
flute or something.
Just improvise. Just improvise.
Good. It's going well. Australian hip hop. Yeah.
Yeah,
Laura loves
that's it. So
Sorry.
this has been very interesting.
That's
so
a batshit
it's
synopsis.
and
Sam.
because
you said it with
it's-
such integrity, but I'm like,
it's
I'm
a
sorry.
fucking
What?
lunacy.
Look,
It's like
I'm here for it. I love it. I'm kind of like, this could only work in an anime medium, so
100%.
I'm sold.
100%.
And also the two studios.
So this is where there's a bit of controversy because anime fans cannot be happy. It's just not, we're not allowed to be, right? Because if you go on Twitter, you go on Reddit. So after the second episode aired, the first episode, the reason the show works is because it's batshit crazy. I mean, that's the dumbest fucking synopsis. One of I've read a lot of dumb synopses on this show.
Oh, I'm gonna outdo you.
You know, you are definitely going to outdo me. But this is dumb, right? Now, and it's also because it's a mobile game. It's about to be a mobile game. So fucking crazy JRPG, fucking lunacy
It's a
story.
gacha
right?
game type.
Yeah, totally.
Like-
So that's where it's at. Now, what is amazing about the first episode is the Madhouse directed episode or produced episode looked $1 million. I'm talking like it was Sakuga. Like the fights were just like, whoa, it was insane.
Right.
And then the second episode, though, by virtue, was more of a character study. It pulled it back. It gave us the backstory of Cosette and what happened, which I've spoiled, but don't worry about it.
Is she an orphan in the French Revolution?
No, it's not Les Mis.
It's not Les Mis?
No, not this time.
We haven't referenced Les Mis at all in this entire
I know, it's a
podcast.
disaster,
I don't really know,
it's a real problem on the Devonport front.
We've disappointed our family.
Mum's done with this show.
Pull it out of the Patreon. We're done.
We're over. We're destitute. So what happened was the second episode was much less of an action piece and much more of a character study. But there is no question that the animation was a step down. Now, because Mappa, and if you've, again, listened to that episode, we talked about Mappa are famous for taking on too much work. And they also actually outsourced a lot of the episode to Studio Voln, episode 2. Now, there was a big step down in animation. That's true. It absolutely was. But it wasn't a massive action-packed episode. It was a fucking character episode. And my God, did Twitter and Reddit let them have it. There were people putting... there's a shot of Destiny's eyes, episode 1, episode 2, and someone had put like a split screen and been like, look at the difference. Look at the difference between the animation. It's disgraceful. I was just like, what? This is cool. It's cool that two studios are trying to do the same show, especially one with such a history, right? And it's like, why can't you just wait? It's 2 episodes. It's 2 calm the fuck down.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Flashes to me posting on Reddit. They're like, no, it's not me. No, I'm very much anti-critiquing animation studios for lack of quality when they're obviously overworked and underpaid. Yeah. Very much anti it. And it's obviously still amazingly good quality. I do wonder about, unless you're doing an anthology, I wonder about for a whole series, isn't it better to keep better to keep things kind of in one coherent thing? I also haven't watched the show, so I don't fucking know. But I'm just saying, in my head, I wonder if that is actually a cool thing. Unless they're taking it and making it so drastically different every episode.
It's not Star Wars,
a completely different style, why are you doing it? Is because they overcommitted and they both had to share the load? Is that it?
It's a weird move. This hasn't happened before as far as I'm aware. Maybe it has.
It just seems odd from a
It is odd. Perspective. And look, there is a gap in the animation quality, so it is interesting. But I just feel it's let's just wait and fucking see.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just why? There's a great thing recently, we talked about this in depth on the previous episode last season. Since then, an interview came out with one of the animators at JC Staff who did One Punch Man Season 2 and tend to do a lot of the pickup work for a lot of studios, right? And it was very interesting because anyone who's had a cursory education in Japanese history or even just looked into it knows they like to do things their way, right? And so you've got all these Westerners freaking out about the difference between Mappa and Madhouse and being like, oh my God, look at the eye, look at the animation of the eyes, it's disgraceful. And they're like, in this interview, he was like, and Brett actually brought it up in season 1 when we're talking to him because, obviously now.
God, how's Brett?
Who knows? Who's Brett?
We miss you, Brett.
We do, Brett. Enjoy WA.
He's having a good time.
He should have got a stand-up, one of those cardboard things.
Brett.
But no, he asked a very good question because it was something I brought up back then, which is that over 50% of all revenue and even ratings comes from outside of Japan now for anime, which is a huge deal. And he even asked us, he's like, do you think that will change the way they make anime? Do you think they'll start tailoring it more to a Western audience? Now, which is an interesting question. You do a little bit of research in Japan, know that they don't really care what other people think. And this interview with this animator, he was just like, we don't give a fuck what the West think about any of our work. We don't care.
And
good. It's fair enough.
Fucking
fair enough, man.
Fair enough.
No question. So look,
very much guests of this medium were watching it.
100%. 100%. So 100%. Look, the criticism isn't invalid. This is definitely a new thing that's being tried by the anime industry. Clearly, I guess sharing the load for a show, maybe it'll fail. And yes, there was a step down in episode 2, but let's just give it a second. And also, they don't fucking care. And get off Twitter and stop yelling at them. And don't send death threats, for fuck's sake.
People are sending death threats?
Not on this one, but in the time of recording this podcast, Mappa also released the trailer for
They did, yeah.
Season 4 Part 2 of Attack on Titan. And again, people in arms, people up in arms about it. You know, oh, the animation's not as good as Wit, and what the fuck, they've ruined Attack on Titan. Don't worry, Attack on Titan ruins itself. But it's just one of those things that
You
it's
heard
like,
it here first.
it's just like, come on,
Attack on
guys.
Titan ruins
It's
itself.
like the ending. Anyway, I'm not going to
Had
spoil
an
it.
interesting conversation with my friend who I have to call out, who says that the movies are better than the animated show.
What, the live action?
Yeah.
Hold on, what?
He's a crazy person.
No, that is a crazy. That
You
is
know
a,
who you
That's
are.
that is madness.
That's
That's
madness.
anti-vax level madness.
Madness.
Like
Oh, man.
that.
There's no argument. Like, what?
I couldn't argue with him because I was just like,
But the worst thing is that when you realize that the reality is that people are allowed their opinion, you're
Yes,
kind of
they
like,
are.
God damn it. But he's wrong. Like,
he's 100%
Yeah, no,
wrong.
that's bad.
actually, he's not allowed his opinion. No. Why the
Some
hell am I
opinions are
talking?
just wrong. Anyway,
That's the worst
He's the
take
type
I've
of guy
heard.
who's like, I'm not watching Squid Games. I'm not watching it. It's too popular. I'm like,
oh, man, come on.
that means it's good. No, it just means he's
Yeah, okay. There's
Wow.
a lot of people like
That's
that.
like contrarian, like just trying to rock the boat at this point.
know who you are.
You're too cool. Whoever that is, you know. That's Takt, op.Destiny. It's a lot of fun. Looks great. Madhouse are about to do the 3rd episode. I'm sure it's going to look real good. And then people will be like, we knew it. But check it out. It's real fun. It's crazy. And it's only, as you said, only what anime can do this kind of crazy shit. And so far, it's a lot of fun. Charlotte, what do you got?
All right, so I'm going to talk about one that actually was pretty good. Now I'll talk about one that is insane. But first of all, I'm going to talk about one that I've been excited to see adapted, even though I hadn't read the source material. I have since, but that's a whole other thing. But it's called Blue Period, which is, yes, Van Gogh. Is it Van Gogh? No, my God, it's Picasso.
That's Picasso, yeah.
God, delete that. Oh, my God.
Shut her down. Shut her down.
Okay.
We're finished.
Oh.
Graeme hasn't got a mug. Charlotte's got Van Gogh.
No,
Correct.
her art history is incorrect. I actually did study art history for a hot second.
Well,
Obviously failed that.
clearly 1 second.
Clearly nailed it. I know that Blue Period is very famous. Anyway, the show is called
Famous enough.
Blue Period is a show and an anime based on a very popular manga that a lot of people have been talking about for a couple of years, and I've kind of heard about it and I was interested. So it's on Netflix, which is, as we know, both good and bad.
Yes.
Mostly bad for a couple of
Mostly.
reasons. Because one anime that I, just on a side note, have been most looking forward to is Komi-san Can't Communicate.
Yes.
One I've wanted to watch for years. Like that, and that manga has so much hype. I used to go to the store and like kind of try and read it. And it's in Netflix jail and I can't review it because I refuse to pirate. And it's actually not coming out till October 21st, even though it's already airing in Japan.
It's airing most places, but Australia.
Yeah, but Australia, it's in Netflix jail. So
Yes.
you should check that out. Apparently, according to all the reviews, it is a really good adaptation.
Everyone's loving it, yeah.
That's good. Blue Period. All I'll say is I started watching it and it hooked me enough that I decided after the first episode that I would go and read the manga because I didn't want to wait for another episode. And I read the whole manga in a day. Like the whole
alright.
thing.
Was it 50 chapters?
Yeah, it's about 50 chapters.
Yeah,
Not
that's
that
good. That's
long.
good.
Like, it's not
Yeah.
crazy. I actually was overhyping myself. It's actually not that long. I'm not that cool.
It's not Legend of the Galactic Heroes
Oh,
long.
fucking- Is that even a manga?
Is it novels, actually? Novel series.
Oh, sorry. It's not a manga. It's a novel.
sorry, it's actually a novel series, Charlotte. It's very sophisticated.
Literature.
Just when you think you can't get any more
I
pretentious
can't.
novels.
So you gotta outdo each other. Okay, I feel like
It's actually on hieroglyphics in the pyramids.
Ancient
it's
Sanskrit.
spoken beat poetry actually.
Alan
I don't
Ginsberg.
know. But yes, I read the manga and I almost regret doing so because all I have to say is for a show that I really liked on the first episode, after reading the source material, I'm going to be this person.
Hey.
It's not a great adaptation of a really good source material.
Okay.
But it's worth a watch anyway because the actual premise of it is really good, quite engaging, and something that is rarely done in anime. The studio is 7 Acres. I know nothing about what they've done.
Me neither.
Oh, sorry, 7 Arcs. 7 Acres. I can't read
You're having a good section.
my own handwriting. 7 Arcs. I don't know who they do. Sorry.
Also, don't know them either. 7 acres less so.
Yeah. Haven't started yet. Basically, it's about I think he's like year 11 student. His name's Yotaro Iguchi, and he's drawn to be like a delinquent. So he's got the classic blonde hair kind of thing. But what I like about him is his story arc is that he's a really hard worker. So he's the top of his class only because he works really hard. So people are like, must be great being smart. And he gets kind of a bit off that. And he's sort of like, no, I just work really hard. So he comes from a poorer family. He wants to work hard, get better marks, to look after people. So he's kind of like breaking a stereotype. But yeah, the first scene we see, he's like in a bar with his friends drinking beer, watching a game, underage, smoking, full delinquent, but he studies really hard, is at the top of his class. So he's actually like kind of a cool character in that way. He's already kind of doing some breaking of the stereotypes there. Basically, the story starts when he walks into the art room and he sees this giant, beautiful painting that a senior art student, so someone who's in their senior year, has done from the art club. And he's very taken with it. And he says to her, "You must be very talented." And she gets she's like, "Thank you, but actually I worked really hard on this. So you saying that I'm talented actually takes away from my hard work," which is a mirror of what he feels like when people say that he's just a genius. So he's actually like, "I'm not, I just work really hard." So he kind of like prefers to value hard work than a genius.
Classic anime trope.
Classic.
Yes.
But eventually he goes to art class and he actually starts listening to the teacher, and they get given an exercise and where they have to draw their favorite landscape setting. And he has this moment where he's walking out of a bar like drunk and he sees Shibuya, I think it is, or Shinjuku is one of the main, I think it's Shibuya. And he sees it all. He's like, "Isn't the color kind of blue?" And his friends are just like, "What the hell are you talking about, man? Like, we're just here to watch sport." Like, and then he draws this for class, like a beautiful landscape where he like mixes colors together and kind of, and you can see him like going into his mind and seeing the scape, and like it's like really beautiful. And then he draws something he's proud of, and then he wants to learn more about it and decides that he wants to get into drawing and be an artist. And he's not very good at it, but because he realizes it's something you can work on, it sort of talks, the whole series is then him trying to get into the Tokyo University of the Arts, which is like the hardest thing to get into because he's not rich. He can't go to a rich school. He has to go somewhere that is a public place. It's the hardest one to get into. So then it just kind of follows him trying to get through the exam, that kind of thing. But what I really loved about this series is, so Sam and I are from a family that have literally zero visual arts creativity. Like I'm talking stick figures. Like I'm talking like I
struggle with stick figure, man.
Literally can't do anything. I play Pictionary and it's like the most embarrassing.
And we've got a drawer over here.
Yeah, we've got a literal drawer.
Literal drawer.
So you should watch this as a drawer. You might understand
it's
it.
definitely one I want to watch. But
it's really good. Read it.
I will probably actually just give the manga a go.
Yeah, no, honestly, you should because there's pacing issues. I'll get into that. But what I really loved about it is that they really discuss the skill that he has to learn to do all this. And they go into extreme detail, like animes do.
Of course.
And it's like, you know, things like depth perception or like when you have to just draw the same object over and over and he has to like do the same thing. And then it gets into, after he's like perfected like doing that, it's kind of like what makes a good artist. Are you just good at recreating? Are you kind of like, it's hard for me to actually talk about because I can't, in my head, I've blended the manga and the anime. So the first episode though, he does get into like the art club and he draws with people and everything. But to me, suddenly realizing that it's a skill that you can learn, I've always viewed it as literal sorcery. When people draw, I'm like, I thought they were magical. Like I mean that. Until I watched this, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I recommend watching it. It's like, it's on Netflix, so it's easy to watch if you already have a Netflix thing.
Not in Netflix jail.
No, it's coming out weekly though, and I think they're a couple of weeks behind Japan.
Yes,
but it's still not that bad. Like there's 3 episodes out, but I'll say after reading the manga in one day, which I love, going back and watching this show, there are just some pacing issues. Like I'm worried they're going to rush it because it is a slow burn when you read it. Like you'll spend chapters drawing a line, but it's really satisfying. It's a classic kind of slow burn, creative, like hardworking versus genius. It's obviously like characters that introduce that are considered like genius characters. And it's a really good premise and it's got a lot of hype behind it. And I think it would be quite palatable for people to watch who are not even that into anime because it's about drawing, it's about art. So yeah, I recommend Blue Period if you are into that kind of thing.
Great. Graeme, what do you got?
I'm going to start off with the trash anime roundup corner.
Oh.
Because that's what I do. So I'm going to get my worst one. Well, not even my worst one, but just the...
This isn't even the worst.
No, the other 2 I've got, I think, will be good.
Okay.
But this one, I couldn't even get... The second episode, I fell asleep. The first one,
It's a dud.
It's Muv Luv Alternative.
Yeah.
So basically, there's an invasion of an extraterrestrial life form called the Betas. They begin a war that has driven mankind to the brink of extinction. In an attempt to counter the Betas' overwhelming strength and numbers, mankind has developed a humanoid weapons known as TSFs, deploying them on the front lines against these beta alien things. That's it.
Wow, it's like bingo for generic mecha shonen.
So the first episode, you're in a walled fort, sea fort. So, and then there's an invasion of these really bad CGI aliens, and it's just so heavily influenced by Attack on Titan.
Okay.
So they're attacking the wall. There's people on the wall. It's, don't let them get by the wall. Oh, the wall.
At least that one on the train at least tried to hide it with the train. That Kibinari fortress. Like, I literal. And you're like, at least we tried to hide it.
And you're following I guess she's a rookie pilot.
Okay.
When she gets there, this is sort of 2 years. There's some time skips involved. The first episode is about them countering these beta alien attacks on this port. It's going to be a word that I'm not going to be able to say right. Port fort.
Well, that's a port fort.
Port fort.
It's a port fort, and it is
good.
Attack on Titan meets Gundam Wing.
Okay.
So the mech
is that a bad thing?
Doesn't sound terrible.
That's why I watched it on paper. I was like, that sounds dope. And then the CGI monsters come in, and my God, they are terrible. Like, terrible.
No.
Who's the animation studio?
Oh, man, I will tell you right now, Sam.
7 acres.
7 acres.
7 acres. Everyone's favorite anime studio.
It's Umeta Company.
Okay, don't know them
It's
either.
also a co-production with Graphinica and Flagship Line. And I looked into these companies and I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, I also have no clue.
Yeah.
Where did you watch this?
Crunchyroll.
Wow.
So
yeah.
it's
It's a thing.
like the poster looks good. It's got that Evangelion sort of vibe with the pilots and the suits and the mechas behind them and stuff. You're like, oh, and fighting aliens. I was like, this is what I live for.
But just, nah.
The 3D creatures are just awful.
Okay.
Like the first wave of them are like these mollusk type undersea creatures. They're like, oh, they're coming, and I was like, oh, here they come. And then it looks like the fort is under attack by like seashells. And they're like, oh, they're coming. I was like, well, I'm not scared. Surely the sea fort port is going to hold. And then they've got like the Gundams come flying out and they're just mowing them down. I was like, well, this is bullshit.
Right, okay.
And then the giant sort of monsters start appearing, and
Marginally better or no? No. Much worse.
I think if you drew them, like if you did traditional animation, I think they would have looked cool.
The CGI
But in the 3D sort of render, it's horrendous. Go look at them.
Okay.
I recommend everyone watch the first episode just to laugh at it.
I'm down.
I'm always down for a good
There's some good killing. There's
bit of
like
CG.
there's some people dying. Everyone's like, oh no, he's dying. I'm like, who?
It's episode 1.
No one cares.
No one cares. No one cares.
Oh my God.
The commanders sacrifice themselves. There's like the captains of the boat are just like, get your people out of there. And he's like, no, I'm going to stay here and die. And you're like, good. Fuck you.
Captain goes down with his ship.
I don't care. You are.
Okay.
And then in the second episode, there is a time skip.
Okay.
How many
So-
time skips?
So there's one in the first episode,
Oh.
and the next episode starts like 5 years later.
Oh.
So at this point, when you get there, the only island that hasn't been conquered is Japan.
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah.
Russia's gone, China's gone, they're all gone. Japan
What about Australia?
Oh, no one talks about Australia.
No one cares.
I've never seen any animation reference Australia.
I have the swimming one where they go train in Australia.
Free?
Yeah, they go.
Yeah,
Do they go to
okay.
Australia?
Yeah, dude.
Represent.
And it's sick. He's standing at Central Station, which is like my favorite.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's actually beautiful.
Really?
Like, and it makes sense. Obviously, swimming, Australia. Like,
Yeah,
That's all you do. Yeah.
That's all we do. All I do is swim professionally.
Swimming up the streets. There.
Yeah.
I was a child swimming.
All it is.
So yeah, the story is generic. The anime, like all the other animation's great. Like the mechas look really good. They have like more actual like military sort of style versions of Gundams. They're not brightly colored. They are like militaristic. But the CGI is so bad. The characters are forgettable.
Okay.
In the second episode, I fell asleep.
So
Right.
10 out of 10 from Graeme. Must watch.
I gotta get the crap ones. So
Hey, look, it's all right. There's so much anime every season.
I know there's going to be the whole thing where they're going to assemble a team, and one's going to be a child prodigy, and one's going to be a badass, and one's going to be an asshole, and it's just going to all come together.
I mean, I kind of love that. So
I mean, I get it. You don't have the money to do the animation of the monsters, but just make the monsters look cool. Like
At least.
especially from a country that like has so many good like kaiju
Yeah.
type things, and then to see like a skeleton scorpion walk out the sea with a big head with 9 eyes, you're just like, I don't care.
I don't care
And
for
mollusks.
this at all.
Mollusks.
It's the mollusks.
Attacking the mollusks.
Fuck off.
I mean-
Muv Luv Alternative.
I wouldn't want to die via death of mollusks.
Oh, you wouldn't want him
Like, that's
molested?
scary.
No one wants that.
Molested?
Jesus.
Very good.
Well,
Try.
Back it up again.
Okay, we're done.
So I'll give it 3 gateways up.
Oh, wow.
Out
Okay.
of whatever we do. I don't know.
Take that as you will.
I think we need.
out of what?
I don't know.
We've never
Well,
done this.
I think we need a scale or something.
We're all freaking out because the camera's like, let's add a new thing.
Yeah.
A rating system.
New rating
We're
system.
gonna make it fun.
Oh, God. Visual
Watch.
stuff.
I'd give it a miss. I'd give it a
Okay.
miss, to be
Yeah,
honest.
nah.
Interesting. And
Not really.
I have no interest in watching it, so I'm not going to watch it. Muv Luv Alternative. If
I
that
don't
sounds
even know
good
what
to you.
Muv Love means.
Yeah, it's Muv-LUV, right? Muv Love.
Muv Love.
Yeah.
Muv Love.
Mollusk Love? I don't
Mollusk
fucking know.
Love.
So let's talk now about a show which I'm actually really enjoying, and I think it's a bit of a victim of its creator's previous success. But this show is called Plantinum End, and it is created by Sugumi Oba and Takeshi Obata, who were the creators of Death Note, and also Bakuman. And this is their third work together. And this anime adaptation is by Signal MD, who are a subsidiary of Production IG and IG Port, and like Wit is also same sort of thing. This company was founded in 2014. They've done shows like Fully Coolly Progressive, Dragon Goes House Hunting, Mars Red, which was last season, and they've done anime films like Cyborg 009, Call of Justice, Napping Princess, and One of the Fates, Fate Grand Order.
Hang on. Dragon Goes House Hunting?
Have you not seen that? It's actually really funny.
No?
It's great. It's great. It's about a dragon
Yeah.
who goes house hunting.
Yeah.
That's what
Is that,
it's
is it
about.
sounds...
I'm not even joking.
Slice of life.
It's a
dragon.
slice of life
Yeah.
show about a dragon who tries to find a house in Tokyo.
I would love that.
Yeah, it's dope.
Okay.
This show is fun, but interesting. So, Mirai Kakashi is a young orphaned high school student who was taken in by his abusive aunt and uncle after the death of his parents and sibling. The show opens with Mirai standing on the ledge of a rooftop, preparing to end it all as he is in the throes of despair. He steps off the roof, resigned to his death, when he is suddenly saved by his guardian angel, Nas, or Nasi, who bestows upon him special powers and wants nothing more than Mirai to be happy. So Nas is a special rank angel, and she can bestow 3 separate powers upon him. And the first being angel wings, which enable him to fly faster than the human eye can see. A red arrow that makes anyone he shoots it at fall hopelessly in love with him, where he essentially has total control over their minds. It's that level of obsessive love. And a white arrow, which basically kills anyone it touches and it can't miss. So pretty badass powers. Nas, who has been ostensibly watching over Mirai since he was born, informs him that his aunt and uncle actually conspired to kill his parents to be able to inherit their grandparents' small fortune. So Mirai confronts his aunt and, upon Nasi's encouragement, fires the red arrow at her to essentially gain control of her mind. And she admits everything and begins to attack her husband as Mirai breaks down, muttering to himself hysterically that his aunt and uncle should just die. He's like freaking out. And upon hearing this, because his aunt is now weirdly, hopelessly in love with him, his aunt, because she's like...
Anime was a mistake.
Sometimes it does some weird things, but he's doing, it's more
Too late to back out now, Charlie.
it's a creepy moment.
What?
But he's
What's wrong?
like, she's freaking out because he's like trying to be like, he controls her mind and be like, why did you kill my mom and dad? She's like, yes, it was my husband's idea and it was all him and we wanted to get the fortune. And then he's like freaking out, like, you should just die. So she picks up a kitchen knife and stabs herself in the neck and dies. It's pretty fucking savage. Then,
Spoilers.
Look, this is spoilers.
Spoilers.
The whole,
Major
the whole
spoilers.
series.
This is the first
This is
episode.
the first 3 minutes.
This is the first. It happens pretty quick. And Mirai then moves out just to find himself a simple, happy and modest life. However, the problem is, Nasi, who seems to just want him to be happy, informs him that actually God will be retiring in 999 days and 13 candidates have been selected to replace him, each with their own guardian angel. Mirai has essentially become Nasi's champion, and he is now in a contest to decide which one of the candidates will become God. Now, all of them have different ranks. So there's the lowest level rank, which can only give you the red arrow. The second level can give you the red arrow and the wings. And the highest level can give you both arrows, which insta-kill, love, mind control, and wings, which is nice. And there's only like 3 of those high angels. And basically, he's now in a kind of Death Note meets Future Diary kind of
I think I
referred
almost
to
game
it.
kind of thing.
It's like Fate with the Gods,
It's like I'm a Fate with the Gods as well. Yeah,
And
Fate
like
Zero,
Tournament as well,
Fates,
like-
Tournament. It's like
I refer to it as Death Note meets The Highlander.
yes, yeah, totally.
I mean,
There can be only one.
If you gave me that as a fucking pitch, I'd be like, I'll give you $1 million.
It will awaken the inner teenager in you.
Yeah, it
Yes.
sounds like edgy teenager.
so
like,
edgy teen, man. I saw a great meme on, I think it was Reddit or Twitter, which was just like dark mode, on your phone and light mode. And one was Death Note, and then one was this, because it's like, Nassie's all white.
Yeah.
And,
One's
Ryuk's all black. And it's just like, it's fucking hilarious how similar they kind of are story-wise. And I think a lot of people who are the manga readers are kind of like, oh yeah, it's not that great. Like it's good, but it's not that great. But I'm watching it fresh, obviously, and I'm like, this is cool. I think if I didn't know it was written by the Death Note duo, I'd be like, this is sick. But because I'm comparing it to Death Note, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, it's sort of a poor man's Death Note, But give me poor man's Death Note any day of the fucking week. It's sick. I'm into it. So honestly, I'm actually really enjoying Plantinum End. The third episode has just come out, actually. New antagonist has been introduced who's really cool, Metropolitan Man. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So check it out. Plantinum End, I'm actually a big fan of it. Like I say, it's not going to necessarily change your life. It's not, from what I've seen, it's not Death Note. But again, don't judge it just because it's been written by some people who've written an amazing piece. Like, maybe it's not going to reach those heights, but it's still pretty fucking good. So I'm enjoying it. I give it a big thumbs up. Check it out.
Yeah, cool.
How many gates do you give it?
How many gates do I get?
Oh my God. How many gates out of
7 gates at this
7
point?
gates.
7 out of 10?
I guess we're out of 10, aren't we?
That's a pretty good rating.
So far, I'm enjoying it.
7.
7
gates.
At this point, it might dip, but from where I'm at, I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty good 7.
Yeah, I watched the first episode. I enjoyed it. But if I was 15, I'd be like, this is life.
Totally.
10 out of 10
Totally.
gates.
10
Totally.
gates.
10
Yeah,
gates.
10 gates for a 15-year-old. But like, I'm a big
Does it
fan.
unlock that nostalgia itch for Death Note? Does it have that kind of aesthetic at all?
Yeah, it's forever. You can definitely tell when it's by the same people. You can kind of tell aesthetically because it's obviously
It did make me think maybe it's time to watch Death Note again.
Oh, cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So Platinum End, check it out.
Yep.
Charlie.
I'm going to dive in with the one that I've been teasing about. The maybe best anime I've ever seen. Maybe worst. When Sam and I discussed what we were going to talk about, I went, should I do the Vampire Eurovision one? And Sam went, obviously. You
I
should
don't even know what this is.
Wasn't even a question.
Yeah.
Like,
you didn't even know what I was talking about though, did you?
I had no clue. I'd never heard of it. But as soon as you
Because
pitched that to me, I was like, yes.
Is there another vampire show on right now as well?
There's a bunch of vampire shows.
There's a vampire show
Where
where
he's like a roommate of Van Helsing or
vampire
something?
there's one
No,
where
that's like an American show, isn't it?
Did you say Vampire Diaries?
The vampire died or something. The vampire died 3 days ago or something. I think that's what
There's
it's
one
called.
where he's like actually really weak. There's that one. It's meant to be really funny. I didn't
that's what I'm
watch
talking
that.
about. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
We don't know
So
what that
that's
is.
not that show.
No.
Yeah.
So I decided to watch a show called Virtual Prison, which I thought was going to be like a tacky deathmatch anime.
Yes.
And I was pleasantly surprised to find that this is by A1 Pictures, so it's actually well animated.
very reputable.
Honestly, it's very well animated and is gonna scratch an itch for a lot of people. And honestly, guilty pleasure of the season so far. And one of those shows where you're like, only in anime could this happen. Is there a plot? Maybe. Did I get it from episode 1? Not really. But basically, the show opens with just like some like J-rock song and then just a series of beautiful anime boy band idol vampires with their name and like I'm meant to know who they are, but we don't. That's it. And you're like, oh, cool, virtual prison. Yep, this makes sense. And there's just like an anime protagonist who just looks like a generic guy listening to his headphones and he listens to his favorite band.
Yeah.
And then we're treated to a video clip from the band who are all kind of like glam rock, like vampiric aesthetic. And he's like, this is so good. It goes for like 3 minutes. Most of the episodes are video clips of songs. And then suddenly you look up and there's like a red moon and he's like, oh, cool. And these 2 angels descend. These twin angels.
Season of angels.
And then they sing a song. And once this time, when the song cuts to them, it goes to like what I could describe as really bad CG, like PlayStation 2 graphics. And these like 2 guys just like singing this song. It goes for like 3 minutes, like full. And then you're like, okay, cool. Then it snaps back to the plot, which is our friend just watching it being like, cool.
That's the plot?
Yeah. And then he looks at the moon. And then all of a sudden, one of his eyes go red because of blood. It's like a red moon.
Yeah.
And then I guess he just turns into a vampire. And then you realize that actually all these bands, they're all vampires. and they're there to take part in a contest.
Right. I
called,
forgot about the Eurovision part of the show, right?
Yeah, they're there to take part in a contest.
This is
called,
Vampire Eurovision.
Yeah. They're there to take part in a contest called Virtual Prison, where the best vampire pop group, rock group, whatever you can be a solo artist, wins some power from the blood moon.
Okay.
Anyway, flash forward, our like random protagonist who literally was a second ago just a normal human walking down the street, looked at the moon, became half a vampire, only half as I did.
This is the first time he's become one?
Yep. And then he sung a song because his idol turned up. He's like gorgeous vampire man who like hugged him in a beautiful way. And then he went, "You've inspired me." And he sung an a cappella song. And then the blood moon.
Are you making this up? Because I know when you told me at the start, you're like, Vampire Eurovision, I'm like, okay, there's got to be something to this.
And then apparently like suddenly something happens to the moon, like gets a mark on his hand. And this guy's like, the blood moon has selected you. And it's chosen you to take part in visual prison. And then I only watched one episode of this, so I was just like, what is going on? And they were like, yes, now you have to take part in this and I will destroy you through my band.
Okay.
And then it ended. And I went, this is the best show I've ever seen. I was just like, cool, virtual prison gets 10 gateways.
10
gateways.
At 10.
Is this your Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
Honestly, it should be. Because I was like, I can't deal with
This sounds like a coke-fueled nightmare.
I can't deal with it.
Like just big lines and then the moon makes you a vampire.
Love it,
You're in a contest.
I'll destroy you through my songs, bro. Like,
yes. My partner walked in the last.
Let's go, Jerry.
My partner walked in the last 2 minutes and was just like, "What happened?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I feel like I just told you the literal synopsis, and you're like, "Did you make
That's
that
not
up?"
a synopsis.
And I can't tell you what the plot is,
That
but
was
I look
it.
forward to it. Episode 2 came out today, so look forward, guys. You can find it on fucking Funimation. So there you go.
There you go.
A1 Pictures, actually very famous.
A1
production company.
Pictures. Okay, so this is legit.
And on top of that, like it will
10 gates.
So it really
Is this your new Skate the Infinity?
Oh my God.
I mean, I was hoping. To be honest with you, it's a weird show, of course.
No, what?
Weird.
Sounded pretty straight up and
really
down to me.
But it really scratched that itch of like, I'm not, and it's a huge thing. And I think we need to do an episode on this. Idol anime.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Whole
is like
thing.
a massive thing that
Whole
I'm not
thing.
across. And I feel like this would be the ultimate dream because it is an idol anime with vampires. And the character design, they all look amazing. They're all hot vampire boys. Like something called Visual K is like a style of musician kind of like aesthetic for J-pop, J-rock, where people wear a lot of like androgynous stuff. So you don't know like kind of that vampire style. Like it actually is like a huge kind of like late 2000s thing. So it's nostalgic to watch for that reason. It makes no sense, but if you want to have a good laugh, and you know, and also as I said, like only anime. Only anime. Would I be like, and then the fucking Blood Moon gave him permission to take part in Virtual Prison, which is a singing contest for vampires.
Such a weird name for a singing contest.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like some cool like futuristic.
Wonderland type
I really thought it was going to be Dead
That
Man
show sucked
Wonderland.
as well.
No, but virtual. Yeah, don't put Virtual Prison in the same.
No.
How dare
Don't you bring Virtual Prison down
you
that
drag
level?
Why don't we just swap the names though? Dead Man Wonderland would make a better
Way
Yeah,
more
because they're
sense.
dead.
Yeah,
All
that's
my-
true.
Okay,
Actually, yeah,
see? That's some big.
No, that is a
thinking
very
right there.
good.
Write that down.
I'm sorry, yes.
How dare you? Virtual Prison.
I'm
Anyway,
going to email A1 Pictures after this.
yeah, we'll mess
But then again,
fools.
is the plot reveal in about 5 episodes going to be that they're plugged into a virtual reality prison and this is...
I hope so.
Me too.
But I don't
this
think
is their
so.
Matrix?
No, I think this is just it.
Yeah.
I think that we just
it
accept that
Sounds like this is it.
this is it. Also, like, why did he just suddenly become a Dampier, Dhamipir, which is a half vampire?
Okay.
It's just like, you're
Good
a
to know.
Dampier. And he's like, what?
I would have
I'm
called him a
like, "The hell?"
Mampier, but whatever.
Yeah,
Graham, you should
Vampire.
probably get in the writer's room for this.
totally. Anyway, that was my lol of the season so far.
That's a big lol.
Big fucking
That's a
lol.
good one though.
That's a good lol. That's actually like,
Virtual
and again,
Prison.
like only, sometimes you got to watch just the craziest shit in anime to
dude.
just be like, you know what? Yes. Yeah, I'm all about whatever
This is
the fuck
again
this is.
back
Like,
to what you were saying earlier. The Japanese just don't give a fuck.
give a fuck. man.
Just don't
Shit, dude. Like, it's like, who
Hey,
cares?
and like, it's going to have
Love
a
it.
huge fan base too because
course it is.
idol anime is popular in the West too. So, and like Idol's
and hot
popular.
vampire boys, they're in.
Hot vampires are timeless.
Tick,
Get it? 'Cause
Ticks
they're-
all down the page on this pitch.
Yes, thank you. Except for the weird PlayStation 2 CG video
Oh,
clips.
okay, right.
But also that made it better somehow. And they're like full
The
song
worse,
length
the better,
too. So
right?
half the
Like-
episode is just like a weird video clip with like with a song being like, you are but like I'm just like, what is going on?
Fuck.
Yeah, anyway, so virtual prison, do it.
Virtual prison.
Just do it. Just have
All right.
fun. Just live a little, guys.
Have a look.
Fucking live a little.
I can't top that.
Sorry.
Right, Graeme,
How do you-
what do you got now, man?
Virtual prison.
Fuck me, that was great. So my next one is maybe the longest title in the history of titles. The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat.
Jesus Christ,
That's like a shorter title than I've heard from those light novels. They go for like.
I don't think I need to go into the plot synopsis or anything.
Yeah,
I think we just learned.
It's in the title.
in the paragraph
Yeah.
of a
Honestly,
title.
they're
Any questions?
So bad.
So it's an isekai.
Really?
Oh,
Yep. It's about a aging assassin who's doing one last job before he sort of retires.
Good one, last job.
That's his voice.
Nailed it.
Yeah, he works for some sort of shadowy organization, and they basically just kill him.
okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Right into it.
I'll spoil how they kill him because I thought it was actually pretty good for an isekai that didn't involve like a bus.
Yes, sure, a truck.
So he's on a plane going to Japan because he's going to train future assassins at this sort of ninja assassination company, whatever. I don't know what it was, but they decide to just hit the fucking plane with a cruise missile.
Wow.
Yeah, they're like, we couldn't kill him in the real world, so we're just going to destroy this plane. He's just sitting in his seat going, because they know it's coming. He's just like, God damn, they got me. Just finishes his drink, blows up. It's great.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so he then gets, as most isekais, he meets a goddess. And she's like, look, I'm going to reincarnate you in another world, but you need to do something for me. And he's like, my life is full of regrets. I never realized it until I died. Let me take this next shot. And he's tasked with killing the world's hero.
Oh.
So the guy who I think,
this new world.
yeah, who was probably isekai'd into killing the demon lord of the world,
Okay.
he's tasked with killing that guy.
Okay.
Like he gets sent back as a child, and he's got 18 years to
Classic.
kill the hero before he just goes mental and takes over the world. He becomes the bad guy in the series. So it's
Okay, there's some subversion
I'm
here.
kind of into this.
yeah,
It's not terrible.
no, the animation's great. There is some etchy moments. I feel like it's going to lean into a harem type thing as well.
Okay.
Thank God, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's
No
it's
vampires.
what-
There's not enough of
that. There's not enough of that in
enough
isekai.
anime,
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets stuff. The family, he's called Lou,
Okay.
which I thought was weird.
Just Lou.
Not his vampire musical boys, but
Damn
yeah,
pure.
Lou, but spelled Lugh,
Huh?
like Hugh. So it's Hugh.
Lou.
Hugh. Yeah, so he's actually reincarnated into the Tuade family, which is an aristocratic family that pose as surgeons for the kingdom,
Okay.
but they're actually like assassins. They're the king's assassins. So he's actually learning to be a better assassin than he already was. He's the best assassin that there ever was.
Right.
So
The
it's weird.
title told us that.
And there's this weird scene
Right
where
there.
his father is like this surgeon who's like monitoring his growth, like muscles and stuff. So he makes him do all these positions, and he's like feeling his muscles, and he's like, "Oh, you got to train harder here," and
That's
builds him as a better assassin. I thought it was very strange.
That's a bit off.
I thought it was very
That's
strange.
a bit off.
But
Yeah, weird.
yeah. In the first episode, you actually see him as the reincarnated assassin, and he's breaking up a what's the term? They're selling girls.
Oh,
Okay.
yep. Sounds bad already.
Yeah, they're selling girls to
Going downhill pretty quick.
aristocrats, but he's tasked with wiping the auction out, like
Okay.
Right.
of like saving these girls and just
Right.
Uh-huh.
with his team. And the animation's great.
Okay.
And there's this sort of weird mix of him being like a human assassin, so he likes, sniper rifles, but he's using magic as well. So there's some cool stuff going on there. If it falls into a harem thing, I think it might suffer.
Become a bit problematic. Yeah.
A bit.
Interesting.
But if the animation's great, the story, as I said, it could go either way. But
Okay.
I'll give it 5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
What?
Just because it's on
50-50.
there. There's this scene where he's hunting rabbits in this new forest, and he's like trying to like master a bow, which is really good. Like the animation is really smooth. And he needs to build up his nutrition, and he has to eat the right foods to to build muscle mass to eventually take on the hero and stuff. So you see him cooking and talking about nutrition and stuff. So there's some
sounds a bit interesting. Well, I want to talk about something which I've also been pretty 50-50 on. And speaking about the sort of kind of content which always really fucking grinds my gears when I watch these sort of things. This show is called Mieruko-chan. And it's written and illustrated by a guy called Tomoki Izumi. And the anime adaptation is by Passion, who have done High School DxD, also High School DxD Hero, actually. Interspecies reviewers, speaking of problematic content, and Higurashi, When They Cry, the remake. For those of you who don't know, Interspecies Reviewers was a show that came out a couple of years ago and was just a straight up hentai. And it took the anime streamers a little while to figure that out because it was dressing it up as like a normal show. And then all of a sudden it was just we're pulling this.
It aired, right? It was on actual, like, it aired in Japanese TV.
Yeah, and
right?
pulled it.
Yeah. It was airing like everywhere. And people watching it, everyone was just like, and Giggle did the anime YouTuber did a big video where he was like, my God, I can't believe it's not hentai. Like, we did it. They took it to that's what, his whole point. It was fucking crazy. So these guys this studio make content with some perhaps problematic bits. And this show is no exception. So Miko Yotsuya is an ostensibly normal high school girl who has the unfortunate ability to see horrifying ghosts and spirits that haunt her and those around her. Despite this, Miko does her best to ignore the existence of these horrible supernatural beings as best she can as she tries to live out a normal high school life. That's basically it. It's a slice of life meets horror. So it's actually kind of interesting. It's like, so she's just a normal girl trying to live her life, and then all of a sudden there's like horror. The design of the horror ghosts is phenomenal.
Yeah, they look fucking scary.
Fucking terrifying. They're like in her face, like, goo, like, can you see me? And she's just like, and basically just decides that if she doesn't react to them, then they ignore her eventually. But they are fucking terrifying.
It's such a good premise.
It's actually a great premise.
And it's
funny. A really cool premise. It's actually quite funny and like...
Because they're kind of like dejected puppies when she ignores them. They're just like, bang.
Walk off and she's just like...
She just like ignores them. Like she's like at one point she like opens her locker, like they're in her bed and shit. Like
they're everywhere. Like they're all up in her grill.
Yeah.
But the problem is with this show, and it happens with so many animes, is just that there are those weird fucking ecchi moments. And it's just like, and I'm talking just like a shot of like, she's bending over to get into a cupboard or whatever, and it's just like her ass. And you're like, fuck, what is this? Like, no. Pulls me out of the story every time.
Yeah.
She's a high school girl, for fuck's sake. So I'm sitting there being like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's just like, come on.
It's so annoying, isn't it?
Well,
it actually is annoying.
Interesting though, it is annoying. But what is interesting, and I found this out by I had to figure out, I was like, is this part of the manga? Like, is this just this studio being creepy? Like with their backstory of interspecies reviewers and stuff? But what happened was, what's interesting about this is that Tomoki Izumi wrote the first 2 chapters on Twitter. So just put them out on Twitter. And they were pretty fan servicey, right? Then it got picked up by Kodakawa's Comic Walker website. And then it got serialized, right? So then all of a sudden, most of the fan service kind of stopped. And I watched the 3rd episode last night before this because it just came out and I was going to drop it. Honestly, I was going to drop it. And then the 3rd episode, I watched it. Almost no fan service. And I was like, wow. I'm enjoying this show. I don't get these fucking weird moments of like creepy shots of fucking huge tits, and just being like, I was like, oh, this is cool. And I looked it up. I was on Reddit trying to figure out, I was like, is this? And I was like, yep, the first 2 episodes, the Twitter stuff, when he put it out, it was obviously super raw to some guy writing on Twitter. It was pretty, creepy, to be honest. And then once it got serialized in a proper publication, they cut all that shit out. And my God, the 3rd, if you wanted to start from the 3rd, I just told you what the show's about. That's basically it. The 3rd episode, I was like, okay, I can handle this. This might be something I can watch. I mean, who knows what it's going to do from here on out, but like, it's a cool concept. The only other thing is there's another girl who's like got kind of multicolored hair who looks like she can see ghosts too. That's about all you need to know to jump into at episode 3. So I don't know if I'm going to necessarily say that I'm giving it 6 or 7 gateways. Like I'm still probably at 5 because I'm kind of like, it's different to what I usually watch. I'm not a horror fan. I'm not a slice of life guy necessarily outside of like Mushishi and things. So but I'm going to keep pushing through until the fan service erupts again and I'm out. But hopefully it doesn't because I believe the manga actually stops that. So yeah, check it out. Mieruko-chan.
Reminds me of the Constantine movie. At the start of that where he's like seeing ghosts and people don't believe that he's seeing ghosts and he's on the bus and he's like, there's a dead woman there and he's just like, as a kid. The only difference is they put him in a mental home and lobotomize him. Which I don't know if the anime will go that way.
It's also the Sixth Sense, which is
The Sixth Sense. Oh, totally.
Sixth Sense. Yeah.
Actually, in the third episode, she is on a bus and there's a ghost, and it's like really intense. Charlie, what's your last show of the season?
This one's actually a good one, so it's not going to be funny.
Okay, it is a recommendation.
I've only watched one episode though, to be honest. But all I say is just stylistically, it's worth watching just for the art alone, if you're into this kind of thing. But it's Heike Monogatari, not Monogatari. The series.
Not the series,
That
no.
all the incels think is art. Sorry, cut that. I've just lost half our fan base. I've just literally lost half of fan base. Sorry about it. No. Anyway. Disregard. People love Monogatari. But
People do love Monogatari.
And I don't get it. Maybe I should rewatch it. I just don't get it, you know?
I don't get it either.
Yes, this show's nothing to do with that, so ignore everything I said.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, this is a historical piece. By Studio Science Saru, who did, which is interesting because as soon as it started, I went, oh, this animation looks a bit like Ping Pong, the animation, or Devilman Crybaby. Funny, that's the same studio, so called it.
Moasa didn't direct this, though, did he?
No, but it's the same studio. So
They've
it's
done a lot of
got,
his work.
it also reminded me of Tatami Galaxy in terms of how it's like, it's got kind of less of a hand-drawn quality and more of a computer quality, but kind of like they really play with depth of field. Like it's a very specific
Watercolor
style.
too, right?
Watercolor, like it's kind of, and because it's a historical piece, it's a lot of just like beautiful. It looks stunning. As soon as it started, I was like, it's one of I reckon, I'm going to say, the opening sequence, as in not the title song, but the actual like opening of the show. It's about a 2-minute sequence which happens. I reckon it's one of the strongest openings I've ever seen.
Really?
Just the way it's done, where you realize the world they're in. I don't want to say because it will spoil heaps, so I'm just kind of like literally going to leave it at that. You kind of just get what the show's about pretty much instantly. So you can watch the first 3 minutes and know if it's for you or not. It's basically about a girl who is blind called Biwa, and Biwa is the instrument she actually plays, which is like it's a 4-string kind of like, I'm going to say mandolin style.
Yeah, they get the big.
Yeah, it's a
pluck
traditional
thing,
Japanese instrument. But she's a traveling musician who is an orphan and she's blind, but if she covers one eye, she can see premonitions of the future.
Cool.
And she doesn't want to ever do that because it's nothing for her, nothing but pain and everything. Basically, it's her story and about how she gets adopted by an aristocrat because she sees not. She's adopted by the greatest assassin that has ever been. It's a crossover.
No one saw it coming.
Oh my God. No, it's like, so aristocrat's the wrong word. I said that because you said
Does
that.
she
It's
kill
more like a.
aliens from a meteorite with her music?
I hope so. Is she a vampire?
Are they CG? Are they CG mollusks?
Oh my gosh, so much.
There's no originality in anime anymore, is there?
Oh my God. No, it's like someone who's from a prolific family and basically she foresees their demise. So she gets adopted by them and they're trying to kind of figure out how to not do that. I've only seen one episode. One thing I say is that I don't like the soundtrack because you know when you're watching something that's beautiful and historical and something like a weird like Gaspar Sands-esque guitar will come in.
Come on. I'm not even a fucking band anymore, man. Throw shade at my old band.
Sorry, it's Sam's band, but it's not bad. Like Sam's band is good, but it's like a very specific kind of like a modern day guitar like riff.
You could have just said modern thing.
Sorry, no. It was
could have just fucking said that.
Actually, no, but Joss and I laughed because it actually sounded like Gaspar Sands. If you listen to our opening Gateway to Anime theme, that is written by
the lead singer of Gaspar Sands.
So, and honestly, it sounds like some of the soundtrack of the show for no apparent reason. They're talking about some beautiful watercolors, like and I'm just like, that was off-putting. Like, why? Like, not that the music's bad, but like the combination.
Dig up, stupid.
Anyway, the combination.
If I can make this all weird, personal, man.
I feel like I'm pretty bad at like when I watch even things like Marie Antoinette where they have like historical where they have like a rock soundtrack. I'm always like,
no, I get you.
Oh, like cool. Like I get
Especially when she's playing a biwa, you think that would be more what they lean into, right? Like the more traditional style
strumming and
soundtrack.
They do that too. So it's like they have a combo.
It's a bit of a mishmash.
There's just one scene where it was really weird. But the rest was honestly though, like the art style, like you'll know immediately. And I don't really have to tell you anything about the plot because you'll know if you're into it or not.
It's a famous Japanese legend, isn't it?
Yes,
historical.
it is.
Not even legend, it's a historical story. I've heard amazing things. I haven't actually watched it yet. I'm going to watch it. I am 100% going to watch it because everyone is extolling its virtues, basically online.
My partner who came in at the end of the Vampire one was like, what is this? And then he stayed for the start of this one and then stayed for the whole thing and was like, can't wait to watch the rest of it. This is it's truly beautiful and I can't wait to watch it. So I genuinely give this one probably first episode's like an 8.
Wow.
Way out of 10? Oh, 9.
Is it just the Gasper Sands guitar line that pulls it down from a 10?
Actually, like maybe. Like I don't know.
Hey, if they want to use any of our music, you can contact us. And,
Maybe they are.
Saru, we'll lease the music to.
They do it.
Maybe they
and go anywhere else anymore.
You know, you have to sue someone.
Yeah, pretty soon. Right.
So my last one is the Faraway Paladin.
Yes.
So that comes from Children's Playground Entertainment.
Don't know them
No,
at
you
all.
shouldn't either.
Oh.
I looked through. There's 2 they've done, and I don't know what the other one is. So,
Okay.
Again,
Bunch of new studios.
Yeah,
Most
it's
of
good.
these are fairly new.
Yeah.
It's good to get
It's
some
good.
new studios out there.
Hopefully they're paying their animators. Who knows?
find out.
Actually, fun fact, just before you start, the new Japanese Prime Minister is a huge fan of Demon Slayer and has actually come out and said that one of his key policies he wants to pursue is making sure animators are paid more within the industry. So watch this space. Very interesting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, straight up and down. I mean, I don't know if, maybe that's just him saying that to win some support, but he
From the
literally
weebs.
said it in an interview. So
The voting weebs.
The voting
well, I don't know. I mean, I imagine the anime industry is pretty fucking big.
Sorry, you've got the weeb vote.
So a lot of voters.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, and his favorite character is Upper Moon 3. So there you go.
Which one's Upper Moon 3?
The one in the movie.
Oh, ew.
Yeah. Well, look, no,
Nice.
it's perfect.
Sorry.
Boo!
I'm running a campaign. What?
Haven't we learned that they don't give a fuck what we think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't ever listen to me. Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's another isekai. This one is about a character called Will, who is born in fact, they don't actually tell you where he's born. He's found in the city of the dead. So it's clear there's been some sort of catastrophe. It's wiped out everything in this area. And he's raised by 3 undead creatures. So you've got Blood, who is like a giant skeleton warrior. Gus, who is a ghost, who is like I think they call him a wandering sage. So a magician. And Mary, who is a graceful priestess. Who's a zombie. Sounds trash. Might be trash. But again, beautiful anime. The character of Will is actually really well done. Like
I've heard good things about this.
Yeah, he's learning to live from creatures that are dead, and explore his world. And he's just getting to the point where he's starting to question where he comes from.
Right. Okay.
He doesn't, like most isekai protagonists, he doesn't have memories of his former life, but he knows this is something isn't right. There's like an itch in his mind, but he just can't scratch.
Right.
And it's just basically the first episode is him being trained as a warrior by Blood, and he learns magic from Gus, and he learns how to carry himself from the priestess. Really learns about the gods and stuff like that, and is just about to come of age. Not really much. I mean, the second episode is just more character development. It's not very heavy on the action. In fact, I think the only action comes at midway through the second episode, so it feels like a real slow burn. But good character development, beautiful animation. Every time I'm like, I don't know if I could keep watching this, but like the opening credits and the closing credits are like so beautiful, and there's like they just give you characters that aren't in yet, and it looks like they're giving you little teasers of what's to come. And I'm like, if it carries on, I think this could be the show of the year.
Really?
Oh my God!
Wow.
Of the year?
If
Of
it's
the season?
Of the season, sorry.
Season, okay.
Not year. Let's dial that back. Cut that out.
I've heard good things, and I am planning to watch it. So you big tip.
Yeah, I had.
How many gateways?
Again, I'm gonna be a centrist. I'm gonna sit on 5 just because.
Okay.
5.
Yeah, look, I can be swayed pretty easily by animation.
So it could be.
I guess 5's actually not that bad a score. I always in my head, I'm like 5.
But it is.
Like,
it would be. It's such a slow burn.
It's too early. Yeah.
Like it's such a. Even though like the character development is good, and you actually get to learn about the 3 parental figures. Like Mary, who she's a priestess, but she committed sin against her god, but she still goes into the temple to pray every night, but she instantly bursts into flames, and she just sits praying while on fire. Pretty metal.
That's hot. That's kind of hot.
It is quite metal.
So hot.
Like,
It's quite metal.
They're really well done. They're really, and you don't know anything about this kid, and these ghosts are clearly keeping something from him.
Right.
I'll say 5.
Okay. But the potential to
I'm a sucker
reach.
for animation.
reach
That's my
heights.
problem.
Okay.
That's why I watch Mushoku Tensei because I love the animation.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So now let's just quickly talk about some of the second cours or second seasons of shows that are airing right now. So as you just mentioned, Mushoku Tensei.
Yeah.
We mentioned it in our, I believe it was winter 2020. And it's a show that just irked me too much. Like, unlike Mieruko-chan, where like it seems to have tailed off getting creepy, Mushoku Tensei got creepier, and it was creepy from the start. So I gave that the fuck away. Now, this is currently probably the most viewed show of the season.
Yeah,
and
people fucking love it.
fucking love it. Giggle himself, the YouTuber. Giggle himself. He did a whole video about how much he loves this.
This is the isekai.
This is the isekai we've been waiting for. But I found Mushoku Tensei just to be far too problematic.
Oh, there are scenes in it that are reprehensible.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, I don't give a fuck how nice it looks.
Yeah. There are 2 scenes that you could cut out and the show would be...
And they could have just made it way more chill. Like,
just no need for it.
And I don't know what episode they're on now. You can literally take two scenes out of that entire show and it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, and it's just so frustrating.
Yeah, it's a shame because apparently in terms of world build isekai, it's stunning.
Yeah, the world is...
light novels very well regarded.
One of those frustrating things.
It's anime.
The world is rich and they've got this guardian protector who's called a Superb. And his backstory is great. And he's just such a rich character.
And it looks $1 million.
Oh,
I watched the first 3 episodes back in winter. And again, by the end, I was just like, the 3rd episode, I was like, nah, that's it. I'm done.
It's one of the first isekais to be really, it was like the first one.
One of the first big light novels, to do isekai
really
properly.
Into it.
And so it's got a huge fan base. People love it.
Problematic.
I've watched a few episodes where I just turn off the sound and I just
look away.
It's on on another screen on my computer.
Right.
And then when I see something there's a scene where he's kind of showing off his power.
It's Rudius, isn't it?
Yeah, Rudius.
Is he still a baby?
No, he's now, I think he's...
Sorry, this show's...
I think he's
12,
a literal
13.
Oh, okay.
Much better.
Still. And he's just kind of showing off and he's bringing his storm powers out and it just kind of go a bit OT, but the animation is stunning.
Yeah.
It's absolutely stunning.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
Who animates it?
Ooh, that is a good question. I have to
someone big.
Go back and listen to the winter episode. I do mention it, but I've walked away from it since. So
it's a shame. It's just brought low by its grotesque.
Studio Bind.
It's
just so many animes, unfortunately, the same fate, and it's frustrating that
it is.
I feel like they might have grown out of that a little bit.
I hope so.
Because after that second scene, there hasn't been anything really.
Okay.
It's been more about the character development. Rudius is actually maturing into his role of, who wants to be the
magic
hero,
user,
quote, and stuff like that. So it might be maturing itself.
The other one, of course, which we mentioned in a previous one, is 86, another very famous light novel and massively well regarded, probably the second to Mushoku Tensei this season. I'm watching it, of course, 3 episodes in so far. And I'm kind of the same as I was in the winter episode where I'm like, it's good, but a lot of people were out there calling it a masterpiece and how phenomenal it is. It's just not to me. It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Same
it's no
show,
code gears, but it's worse. And
it's good though.
It kind of feels to me like you mentioned it in the last podcast when we spoke about it. Is that I feel like I'm being told what to feel as opposed to feeling things. But also on top of that, it feels to me like it's kind of as if the plot seems to go from A to B to C to D, but without any of the pluses or minuses. And what I mean by that is that there's no transition. It's clunky. It goes plot point. And I'm like, what the fuck happened in between? Who are these people?
I
don't give a fuck about these people.
It would have been better in novel form, which is what it's originally. I was kind of it's a good story and it's
it is a good story.
The world's interesting and it's it's a tried and tested formula. And I do recommend watching 86.
Yeah, me too.
But it's a good show. It just is a good show.
I really like it, but
it just is better. Things have done it better.
Yes.
Code Geass has done it better.
100%.
Honestly, Attack on Titan is a similar storyline.
Yeah, and way better.
Also done it better.
It's just one of those things which... Muv Luv Alternative.
Muv Luv?
Not enough mollusks in 86.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem.
But that being said, 86 is probably my pick of the season, to be honest. But at the same time, I just don't... There are a lot of people out there who think it's top tier. And to me, it's not. But maybe the books, maybe the light novels are. But it's good. Definitely good. If you're going to watch anything of all that we've talked about from my end, 86 is probably one of the best picks. So I know I'm being harsh on it, but it's very good.
Prison.
And obviously Virtual Prison.
Also Demon Slayer.
And of course, Demon Slayer. But interesting about that, for anyone who hasn't noticed, the second episode has just come out. So what they've done is the first episode was simply an anime original about Rengoku, who is the star of Mugen Train, the movie. And now what they're doing is they shot that one, or they made that one. Now they're actually going to release the movie in episode form with a few different transitions to make it fit into a television structure. And then there'll be, I think, 9 episodes or 7 episodes of this, which will then finish Mugen Train for those who didn't get to see the movie. And then there'll be 9 episodes of what is actually season 2. So you've got a bit of time if you want to go and watch basically the Mugen Train movie in episodic form. That's what you can be doing right now. We're all watching it because it's fucking Demon Slayer. Obviously, it's sick. But the second season, I've read the manga. It's dope. So get on board the train. The hype train will leave soon.
Oh my God.
Is this window
How
open?
are you waiting for that? Get on the Mugen hype.
Get on the Mugen hype train. It's coming. All right.
I will watch it because apparently there are extra material.
Yeah, look, I watched the extra material one. It's definitely a filler episode, like no question. Like it's straight up
throughout the whole thing. They've got anime.
They are, like I say, they're doing their A pluses and B minuses. They're actually transitioning out across, which 86 doesn't do very well. So yeah, I mean, anything else you guys want to tell people to watch or you are watching?
If you really want to get sad, just watch like Boruto, this one episode.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes, that was sad.
That's all. That was the most weird thing I've ever said on this podcast. But if you know, you know.
Nostalgia.
If you bloody
when you
know,
you know.
So if you want to see a character death on Boruto, just look that up.
Which is a bad show, but that moment
it's well done.
Hits you in the feels.
And really sad.
The fights have been good though.
Yeah, honestly, I look up Boruto when I want to know what my OG crew are doing, you know. I'm like, what up, gang?
Yeah, but it's a bit like watching Modern Simpsons, you know what I mean? You're like, it's the same, but it's not, and it's kind of different. Like,
but this was sad and good.
Yeah,
so
look, that was a nice bit of
nostalgia. I'm being very cagey, but
yeah,
I should watch.
I'm sure you've heard. But yes.
I can't think of anything else, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
I'm waiting for Black Clover to come back because I'm a convert.
Hey, you are, aren't you? Ross got you all
Ross
in.
got me good, and I don't know.
Why not?
That's got my shonen kick. Like, I need like.
Yeah, well, Demon Slayer is about to kick it off as well once it gets
that's
into the second season.
And
Don't worry.
Jujutsu Kaisen film, which
of course, coming out December 24th, I believe. And then of course Attack on Titan season 2 will be coming out. Season 4 part 2 will be coming out very soon. That's going to be interesting. So anyway,
we already ruined it at the start of the episode.
Look, I've been saying it for a while, but like, look, the front half of it will be amazing. It's how it ends. Anyway,
you never know.
You never know. And we'll have an in-depth conversation about that because if you go back and listen to the early parts of this podcast,
oh my God, it's so funny.
Talking about how much I love it. And, you know, I still do in many ways. But you can't take away the first 4.5. You can't do that. It's amazing. It's just potentially how it ends. Anyway, thank you so much. Season 4. Great to have you guys back in the room.
Yeah.
Great to be on camera for the first time. And hopefully it looks decent. And
very aware of how much I have not looked over here.
That's all right. We've got some cool things coming out this season 2. Some cool guests.
Yes.
Sam hasn't mentioned any Undisputed Kings, and I'm sorry for all the viewers.
There isn't one this season, you know.
People love it.
I know. You know.
There isn't one this season.
Is it the vampire show?
Yeah.
Might be.
That's the Undisputed King?
Undisputed King of Vampire Eurovision. I was like,
in fairness, that probably is.
It is. I don't think it's ever existed.
Look, I can't dispute that.
Anyway.
I've got nothing to dispute it with. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Welcome back. And you know what? We'll see you next time. And thanks for joining us. Season 4, here we go. Also, YouTube content about to come out too, so get ready for that.
Well, they know. They're watching it.
Well,
it's on YouTube.
Other YouTube content. Specific content for YouTube.
Look forward to Sam's philosophical. Sorry, don't worry. I'm not.
What's his top 10 list of kings?
Who is the Undisputed King? That's a very existential question.
We need to have a tournament arc of kings. Who's the Undisputed King?
Graeme, that's the best idea.
That's actually a good idea. In fact, I'm going to write that script tonight. Go. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time. All the best. Bye.